Morning. As I always like to start this, hopefully everyone had a great week. Hopefully everyone is having a great morning right now. I would say I am. Yesterday was pretty phenomenal. Last week was pretty phenomenal. Obviously for us in sports, college football, um, this is game week, and so excited about that. Um, just hopefully, like I said, just that last week was productive. Like it don't have to be a great week, as I always say, or amazing week, as I always say. Obviously, there's going to be some ebbs and flows, some ups and downs, peaks and valleys. But I'm just glad that and happy, right, to be alive, to be amongst the land of the living. As they say, 10 toes down, and so that's a blessing. That's a blessing. I always kind of talk about how I open two gifts every morning. And so I just, want to be, happy about that. That's something to be excited about. That every morning I get that opportunity. Every morning I get that chance. And so as you still see the birthday balloon is still flying, that's a blessing. At some point it's probably going to run out of air. Uh, but it'll stay up there until then. But like I said, it's just glad to be here. Glad to be alive. Glad to be breathing. Glad to be in good health. And I hope the same for all you who are listening, who are watching, paying attention, subscribing. I appreciate you all. And I'm gonna keep this going. I think it's pretty close to about a year of doing this. This is episode 50. And so when I first started this, it was a screen at work, and it kind of evolved into a laptop, iPad, and so I'm just blessed to keep this going, to just keep moving it forward, and hopefully it just continues to grow and grow and grow and grow uh, into something uh, phenomenal. So I appreciate you all. Just want to keep encouraging people. Just want to keep encouraging everyone, even myself. Right, that it's whatever we're going through right now. Especially myself, I'm going through something every day. We go through something every day. Is going to be something in life, and you just got to keep going. You can't let it stop you. You can't let it slow you down. You can't let it knock you off your pivot, because that's the purpose of the enemy. That's the purpose of whatever you're going through. That's the purpose of life, right? Is you're gonna have ebbs and flows. No matter what you do in life, no matter what's going on in your life, no matter where you are in your life, 10, 12, 30, 40, 50, like there are going to be things in life that kind of knock you off your pivot. But you got to keep going. You got to keep pressing forward toward the mark. You got to, whatever goal that you want to achieve, you got to keep reaching for it. You can't allow it to deter you. You can't allow life to change your course. And I mean, if it does happen, like which sometimes that happens, I just keep moving my feet because I just want progress. Like I think but progress is purposeful movement. It's not just aimlessly moving around, wandering around. Like it's purposeful movement. Um, I think that's something that we have to consider. That's something that we have to think about. Um, Progress and not just movement. Like it has to have a purpose behind it. So I like to say, don't confuse movement with progress. You can literally jog in place and trick your Apple Watch into thinking you had a full workout. And again, jogging in place is somewhat of a workout, but it's a little different than climbing a mountain, climbing stairs, jogging on a treadmill, running around your neighborhood. It's a little different. Um, so don't confuse movement with progress. Progress has a purpose. You're doing it with intent. Uh, but like I said, like going through the things you go through in life. Like right now, you're probably dealing with something that you didn't expect. That's life. That's the curveball. I've learned is this week. I've told some of the people I've been around. Like I'm gonna start using the phrase rinse it, meaning wash it, wash it away, cleanse it, um, and keep going. Like whatever happened, happened. Leave it there. I think a lot of the things I deal with is if something happens to me, I kind of carry it with me. Whatever happened yesterday, I can't control. Like yesterday is yesterday, that's over with. Um, and we stress a lot about tomorrow. Not a lot of our stresses or our issues or the things that worry us, that bother us, is from today. We really take today for granted. I know I do. Like you're looking for toward tomorrow. You're anxious about tomorrow, or you're upset about yesterday, and we have no control over either. We can't do anything about whatever happened yesterday. Happened yesterday, and you should never allow it to bleed into today, because then it'll go into the next day and then the next day, and you'll look up, and your week is not as productive because you're still worried about, or you're still concerned, or you're still bothered about whatever conversation or situation happened days before. Whatever happened yesterday, like I'm learning right now, and it's a challenge. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, every day I get up and I don't worry about what happened yesterday. No, that's not the case. Like I'm working on that. I remember when I was younger and I was in school in college at Southeastern in Hammond. Uh, I was approaching graduation, and I had to pass a zoology class, um, and it was pretty tough. But the thing about the lab was even tougher, right? The lab, I think I had to take 50 question tests, and it was fill in the blank. And again, I don't know anything about zoology. I don't know anything about anatomy. I wanted to get a degree in sports management. But at that time, they were blending sports management and I think like a sports science or athletic training kind of background. And so you had to take certain courses to be able to get that degree or to pass along to get into the final portion of that degree. And I hated the class. The zoology class I passed, but the lab class you only met I think once a week, and they would give you like a sheet of paper, and you'd have to memorize all these different body parts and muscles and ligaments and just stuff like that. And it was a lot. Uh, I think I failed that class 3 times, and it would always bother me because I couldn't go to the final portion of my degree program until I passed it. I didn't take it serious. I didn't do what I needed to do, and it would always bother me. And again, I really wish I knew what I knew now, right? Um, for those previous years, because I wouldn't let it bother me as much. And I would always, I don't know if it's anxiety, stress, um, but it sent me into a very depressive state because I was supposed to graduate, I think, in 3 years. I would have graduated in 3 years, because I took a lot of summer courses. But because of this class, I took this class, I think, in the spring. I took this class in the, I took it in the fall. I took it in the spring. I took it in the summer. Failed it all 3 times. And I was going into the fall, and it was like, hey, look, if you don't pass this class, like at this point, you won't be able to get this degree. You can't fail a class 4 times. You're gonna have to go into a new degree study. Um, and again, it just the anxiety of failing the class 3 times. Like I never let it go. I never rinsed it. I never. Every time I would take the class, I would get the same teacher, and because I think it was only like 1 or 2 teachers taught this class. It was a lab. It was once a week, um, and it was very stressful for me. Like because you're trying to finish, you're trying to get your degree, you're trying to pass, um, and you have to pass this to get to the next level. It's the same thing as we have in life right now. Like the stuff you're dealing with right now, um, is to help you, is to strengthen you for your next level. Like you're not just going through what you're going through to go through it. Like you're going through what you're going through to grow you, and prepare you for whatever next level, whatever things you have to deal with, right, to enhance yourself. And so, but I didn't have, I was 18, 19, 20 years old. I didn't have that thought process back then that whatever, you go through, you grow through. I didn't have those sayings. I didn't read up on those type of things. At probably about 20 years old, 21, I decided that I wasn't, reading the Bible. I wasn't going to churches. My parents wasn't making me anymore. I'm an adult. I'm going to do what I want. And so my belief system wasn't what it is right now or what it was when I was younger. I wanted to do my own thing, and I think that was my struggle. I didn't have a belief system. I didn't have anything to lean on, and so I was just, winging it. And it took me a few, times of taking this class until I really figured it out. I'm gonna do note cards. If it's important to me, the only thing I'm gonna focus on is this class. So I eventually took the class again in the fall, and I only took that class. That was it. No other class, no electives, nothing else, because I had to pass that class to essentially go to the last step of graduation. So there was nothing else, no other thing that I needed to worry about. And once I, you know, channeled my focus, I was able to pass it. But if I'd have kept doing the same thing, I think the first time I took the class, I had like 15 hours. The second time I took the class, I had like 12 hours. Was again, as I was, getting closer and closer to your degree program, you have less and less classes. You have less and less courses. In the summer, I took it with another class that happened to be like a 6 hour class, some 3 hour class, something to that extent, 4 hour class, and um, it was a distraction. And so I got to this singular focus in the fall because nothing else mattered. Like if I took four other classes and failed the one zoology class and passed those other classes, it didn't matter because those classes were irrelevant toward my degree program. And I could pass those classes at any time I wanted to. My struggle was not those classes. My struggle was the zoology class. But because I still had the thought process of the previous failures, I didn't rinse it. I didn't get rid of it. I didn't wipe it out of my system. Um, Recalibrate. Like it lingered. And so I'd always think going into it was only two exams. And so going into these exams, I'd always have the thought process that, oh, okay, here we go again. This is another, and actually I failed the first exam and had to go into the last exam, had to be clutch, had to get an A, something I had never done. I actually, the first time I took the class, I failed the first exam, and the teacher encouraged me that I failed it so bad that I wouldn't even be able to get the necessary C in the course. So I dropped it. The second time I failed it, I got an F. I think the first exam I got an F, and the second exam I pushed through right and got a B, but it didn't get me the necessary C I needed because the it was like a low B. The summertime I took it again, failed it both times the exam. This time, the last time, the final time, I failed it, but it was like maybe a 58, 50, and I think I got like a 100 or something, maybe. And I did throughout the course. The professor gave like extra credit assignments that I never even paid attention to the first few times, and I was able to pass with with the necessary C to move on. And the reason I remember this right was I was going through some stuff in my house, in my apartment, in a place where I stay, and came across my transcript that was sealed, and just looking at it and seeing like the only blemish on my transcript was that class. And if I'd allowed that to bother me, if I'd allowed that to deter me, uh, I would have probably had to graduate in general studies or again, it's nothing wrong with graduating in that, but that wasn't my focus. My focus was not to go and get a general studies degree. My focus was not to settle. My focus was to get the sports management degree to be where I am right now. And again, it could have took me down different paths, but that was not my focus. That's not why I went to Southeastern. And I appreciate, right, even in those times, which was, I mean, thinking about maybe 15 years ago, um, not being deterred. Because at that point, I had been through enough from Katrina to not to getting put out of UNO, being told that essentially uh, I wasn't passing enough courses. My focus wasn't where it was supposed to be, living in New Orleans with my friends, partying all the time. And so I had to recalibrate. I had to, refocus and move to Hammond and go to Southeastern. And so the whole goal of moving to Hammond and going to Southeastern was to get the sports management degree. Um, and even in that situation, right, like I still had ups and downs. I still had peaks and valleys. I still had drama. I still had a fight. And so that's to encourage you all, like, no matter what, like, even when you pivot, even when you change directions, like, you're still going to deal with something. Um, and you just can't quit. You have to focus. And sometimes you have to get to a singular focus that nothing else matters. Like, if this is truly what you want, you have to have the ability to, whatever you go through, to rinse it. You have to have the ability to forget it, to walk away from it, to leave it there. Because if you allow it to linger, it's going to mess with your mental. Like having to pass a class, having to take a class 4 times, um, is insane, right? It's stressful, it's tough, and I went through a battle. I went through a mental internal battle, questioning myself if it was worth it, if I was smart enough, because again, this since I've gotten that degree, since I've left that passed that course, I've never talked about that course. I've never talked about the stuff I've learned in that course because it had really nothing to do with my profession. And I don't even know if they still teach that course or is required in that degree program anymore. And I mean, because again, I'm in sports, but I'm not even coaching. Like I'm in uh, development, player development. I'm in that's but again, at that point, at that time, being there was a new degree program for Southeastern, they had those courses that were kind of blended in with sports therapy and athletic development, and so I mean the muscles, all that's a part of that, right? Like that's athletic training, that's all a part of it. Sports management is a huge umbrella, and it encompasses all those things. And so I get it, but it probably isn't on there anymore. But it was a struggle for me. But I made it through because of the ability to focus in that moment, and it wasn't easy. Like again, it took me 4 tries. But I think a lot of the reason it took me 4 tries was I wasn't focused on just that particular task. I had a whole lot of other things going on, and I think that's what kind of gets us like now, and it still gets me to this day, like being distracted. Like if this is what I'm set out to do, if this is what I want to do, the only thing I should be focused on is this. And if I have other things distracting me, if I have other issues that come up, I have to leave them where they are. Don't carry it with you. Whatever happened the previous times, that doesn't mean it's going to happen this time. But if you think that way, it will. Your mind, your conscience is going to believe that, okay, here we go again. Now, I've seen this before. It's another opportunity. But if you look at it from a different mindset, that I get to do this one more time, and this time I'm going to pass it. This time I'm going to complete it. This time I'm going to overcome it. Then you have a different result. Like it's not that I got smarter, I got wiser. No, it's just I focused, and there was nothing else that was in my way. There was nothing else because I knew that was it. And it's insane or crazy, right? How life or how your attention span or your focus changes everything, right? When you're determined, or essentially when it's the ninth inning or it's 2 minutes on the clock, how you can zone in if it's important to you, if it's really important to you. If it's not really important to you, you're gonna have like there's always gonna be distractions. But in that one moment, right, that you need something, it is crazy how the human mind works. Like the things that you can do, the the courses you can pass, the obstacles you can overcome when you have a singular focus. But in order to have that singular focus, you have to be able to rinse it. You can't take it with you. You can't bring it with you. Like because it's gonna distract you. Whatever it is, whatever past issues, whatever trauma you've had, you have to be able in that moment to lock in because it's needed. And it's fascinating how the human mind works. That when you really need it, that you can dig deep and finish. And so obviously, this week being, we just left week 0, a few teams played, but most every team is gonna play this week in week 1. Like this is that time to have that singular focus to whatever happened the last play, whatever happened the last practice, whatever happened in the last class, whatever happened yesterday, that you have to rinse it. Don't bring it with you. Don't carry that burden. Don't carry that baggage with you into the next day. Don't ruin today because of yesterday. Don't deplete. Don't um, destroy today because of tomorrow. Like that's not. It's not because it's gonna keep bleeding into every day, and then tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day, and you'll look up and you haven't gotten anything accomplished because you're still focusing on something that you have no control over anymore. There's nothing I can do about the 23rd. It's already done. It's over with. I can't go back. I can't finish it. If there's a task that I can handle today that kind of carried over from yesterday, I can get it done and get it done and finish it. But today's issues, it's sufficient. Like you have enough today. You can't worry about yesterday, and you have to learn the ability to rinse it, to not focus on it, to leave it there. And it's tough. Like it is tough. It's gonna be times you think about it, and then you have to focus. You have to channel that energy into today. Focus only on today. Learn to rinse it. Learn to wash it away, and leave it there. Don't go back for it. Don't try it. Just try not to think about what shoulda, coulda, woulda, because you can't do anything about it. Like you have to press, right? You have to press forward. And I think it's gonna be a beautiful week. I think it's gonna be, again, unfortunately, half the teams that play are gonna lose. Half the teams that play are gonna win. But that doesn't mean the season's over. That doesn't mean that everything ends. You still got more time. You still got more opportunity. You keep moving, you keep pressing forward. And that's the whole thought process in rinsing it. Like it's over, it's done. I can't do anything about it. I can learn from it and I can move forward. So it doesn't happen ever again. That's it. That's the thought process. That's the week that we have. Everything's in front of us. I look forward to it. I love y'all. I think this is gonna be a great week. It is. We're alive. We're in good health. Just keep fighting. Keep pressing forward. Keep moving forward. Do not give up. Tell your family members. Tell someone you love them. Tell them how you feel. Tell them you're thinking about them. Just reach out to the family member that you haven't talked to, the friend that you haven't spoke to, uh, and just let them know how you feel. Let them know you're thinking about them. This is like that time. Again, everybody's going to a busy schedule. We're all busy. Everyone's busy, but never be too busy that you can't reach out, that you can't check on your friends. Which is we're all dealing with something that we don't know. We have no idea how to handle. Like again, no one has lived August 24th, 2025. We're all living it at the same time. So none of us have the answers that it seems like we have. We're all going through this day for the first time ever. And so with that thought process, just check on people. Whoever it is, whoever drops in your spirit, check on them, see how they doing. Um, Hug someone, because you do not know. You really don't. You don't know what's going on in their life. And sometimes a hello, sometimes a good afternoon, sometimes a how you doing, sometimes an embrace. It's just that something that triggers that conversation. And that's all you really want, just the conversation, so we can keep uplifting and building each other. Because we all need each other. We're all here for a reason. We're all here for a purpose. I love y'all. I believe in you. Whatever it is that you're going through, it's here to grow you, not destroy you. Be blessed. Continue to climb. Don't stop. Do not stop moving your feet. Until next time, I love y'all.